From the KATC Weather Lab, here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back. Well, the heat goes on, above normal temperatures over the next week to 10 days. Looking for that elusive fall cool front, not the next 10 days, but maybe the 10 days that follow. So that's the good news. Bad news, tropics still busy as well. So we'll talk more about that. In fact, right now, let's get into it and talk about Tropical Storm Karen moving through Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands this afternoon. Some very heavy rainfall. Here we have the U.S. Virgin Islands and the British Virgin Islands. Then we have Puerto Rico right here, seeing some very heavy rainfall over through Vieques, Isla Vieques as well, where that center or mid-level circulation has been going through and pounding the area. And with Puerto Rico, it's not just the rainfall, but you have elevation, so you have this enhanced rainfall, what we call orographic lifting over some of these mountains. So you get the heavy rainfall, that water travels down the mountains, causes mudslides, and that becomes life-threatening. So some locally very heavy rains over the next couple of days, upwards of 4 to 8 inches. Isolated amounts could be higher before this system moves on out. And we'll have more on Karen in just a bit. We look at the big picture. Quiet across our part of the Gulf of Mexico. High pressure dominating. We have that little bit of a disturbance over here by the Yucatan. The National Hurricane Center only giving this a 20% chance of development, and it will be heading generally toward the Texas coastline. We have Karen. We'll talk about Tropical Storm Jerry. Doesn't look like much of a tropical storm. Here's the center of circulation, so not very well organized, moving out to sea. And then Tropical Storm Lorenzo probably becoming a hurricane, and a major one at that, down the line. Now, Karen, 45-mile-an-hour winds, but the big question marks come down the line as this bumps into a ridge of high pressure. It could get squashed. It could get pushed off to the east or back to the west, and we think back to the west with time. And as we look at that long-range European model, we see again that moisture moving northward, but there's that ridge of high pressure, so that just stops the system. Meanwhile, that tropical wave by the Yucatan, some of that moisture slips up toward the Texas coastline, but we look high and dry for now, and then we'll be watching whatever Karen shape or form that storm may be in. And also deep tropical moisture, by the way, will also be building into the Gulf of Mexico with the signs of maybe low pressure developing down by the Yucatan. Where is our front? Well, it's somewhere back up here, still about 5 to 7 days away from October 3rd. So we're looking at no sooner than the October 7th or 8th for a cool front, maybe later than that. Here's the way it looks down the line. High and dry temperatures topping out near 90, several degrees above normal. Overnight lows near 70, but it gets a little bit stickier this weekend with clouds and some of that tropical moisture nearby. And going into next week, we cannot shake those 90-degree temperatures, at least for the next week to 10 days. Beyond that, I think we start shaking them maybe toward the end of the next 10-day period.
Well, we better. It's going to be October right now.
Come on, for crying out loud.
Thanks, Rob.